Tonight on Elon Local News.
A campus in mourning. The Elon community reacts after the sudden death of a professor.
Fine-tuning a business. We found one local carpenter with some big-name clients.
And we speak with Elon's father, Jerry, whose job led to an unexpected hobby.
We have those stories and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jackie Pascal.
And I'm Rajat Agrawal. Campus is still grieving after the sudden death of Elon professor Heidi Frontani.
Dr. Frontani died of a heart attack Friday.
Frontani was a geography teacher at Elon and a leadership scholar. In an email Friday, President Lambert said, quote, "Heidi's death is devastating to our community, and we are a stronger university because of Heidi," end quote. This afternoon, a gathering of friends for Frontani was held in the Newman Lumen Pavilion.
Our Gary Grumbach joins us outside the pavilions. Gary?
Jackie, more than 250 students, faculty, and staff gathered here at the Newman Lumen Pavilion for a gathering of friends for Dr. Heidi Frontani. It was one of the biggest gathering of friends in recent memory, and speakers included Reverend Jan Fuller of the Truett Center, Charles Irons, who is the department chair of the Department of History and Geography, as well as a 2010 Periclean Scholar student who Dr. Frontani mentored through her time at Elon. Now, this was a gathering of friends and a celebration of life for Dr. Heidi Frontani.
Those who knew Professor of Geography Dr. Heidi Frontani say more than anything, she was passionate.
When you're around her, you wanted to care just as much about the same causes she cared about and to be able to also share in that change with her.
In 17 years on Elon's campus, Frontani traveled with students to Africa, mentored students, and advised a class of Periclean scholars who raised money to build a health center in Ghana.
She never did anything halfway. Once she got on board with something, then everybody else clearly should be on board with it as well.
Director of Elon Core Curriculum, Dr. Jeffrey Coker, says it was more than just her passion for academics that made an impact on students' lives.
She was funny. She was really, had a great personality, was always very honest, and was always very passionate.
Colleagues say Dr. Heidi Frontani's greatness reached far beyond the classroom.
She always challenged the faculty and challenged the campus to not just take the stereotypes about Africa or Africans at face value, rather to appreciate all the good things about Africa.
Midget was part of the team that hired Frontani in 1998 and says because of Frontani's work, Elon is a better place.
We lost a great sense of what it means to be a part of the world and not just Elon, North Carolina.
The Elon community is left with memories and the legacy of a true global citizen.
Of course, we haven't lost her because we'll never forget her.
Dr. Heidi Frontani leaves behind a husband and one son. She was 50 years old.
If you or someone you know would like counseling through the university, you can call 336-278-7280. That number will also be available on our website, elonlocalnews.com. Now, Frontani's viewing will be tomorrow at Low Funeral Home in Burlington from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and live at Newman Lumen Pavilion. Gary Grumbach, Elon Local News.
Earlier today at the Donald Trump rally at Radford University in Virginia, a press photographer was kicked out. According to CNN, a photographer for Time magazine, Chris Morris, was choked and thrown to the ground by a Secret Service agent after attempting to leave the media pen. Elon reporter Brian Anderson shot part of the footage you're seeing right now.
Morris said he is not pressing charges. A Times spokesperson released a statement saying that, quote, "We are relieved that Chris is feeling okay." The Secret Service said it is looking into the, quote, exact circumstances of the incident.
This event comes just days after Trump vowed to make the media easier to sue by weakening First Amendment rights for reporters.
Hillary Clinton took a huge step forward towards being her party's nominee this weekend with a sweeping win over Bernie Sanders in the South Carolina Democratic primary. Our Meredith Setz was in the Palmetto State to witness the win and see where the campaign goes from here.
In 2008, then Senator Barack Obama swept Hillary Clinton here in South Carolina. But 8 years later, Hillary Clinton is the one sweeping the Palmetto State as crowds are cheering, giving her a strong lead headed into Super Tuesday. On Saturday, hundreds of thousands of South Carolinians came to cast their vote in the Democratic primary. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders were seen as the leading candidates, though Clinton was favored to win. When polls closed and Clinton soon pronounced the winner, claiming 73.5% of the vote, a victory rally awaited her. Sanders decided to skip out on Saturday night to focus on upcoming races. Clinton not only addressed Sanders, but another opponent.
We don't need to make America great again. America has never stopped being great.
And the Trump jabs didn't stop there.
Instead of building walls, we need to be tearing down barriers.
Another barrier was aimed at college students.
Let's break down the barriers holding back our young people, especially the student debt that makes it hard to imagine ever living the life you want.
Which resonated with some millennials.
On day one, she's going to be the best person to lead our country into the future. And she's someone that wants to build on President Barack Obama's legacy and not repeal it.
While others still weren't convinced.
I grew up a Hillary fan. I was at her rally in 2008 when I was like 12. So I do also love Hillary, but I'm kind of still on the fence about things, but I still love her.
But some heard just what they needed to hear.
Really appreciate Hillary. I'm really excited, and we think she's going to go all the way.
With a win here in South Carolina, Hillary Clinton looks to continue her campaign, bolstering support here in the southern states ahead of Super Tuesday. Reporting here in South Carolina, Meredith Stubbs, Elon Local News.
Tomorrow, 12 states vote to decide the Republican and Democratic nominations for president. Our Andrew Feather is live in studio to break down the day known as Super Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Super Tuesday in the political world means that about 25% of delegates in both the Republican and Democratic nomination process will be decided. We'll start on the Republican side, where 595 delegates of the more than 1,000 needed to win are up for grabs. Tomorrow, several southern states will cast their votes. The big prize for Republicans will be Texas and its 155 delegates. Several recent polls suggest that most states are likely to go towards businessman Donald Trump, but because delegates are divided based on the percentage of votes each candidate receives, this could still be an open race if he doesn't win by large enough margins. On the Democratic side, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton looks to extend her delegate lead over Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Just more than 1,000 of the needed 2,383 delegates are available, most of them in states favorable to Clinton, who holds large leads in all of the southern states set to vote. The Sanders campaign say they believe young, first-time voters will push him over the top. I'm Andrew Feather, Jackie and Rajat, back to you.
This week's weather is a welcome change. So far today had temperature highs of 71. Our Kaylee Tracy is in downtown Elon with your forecast. Kaylee?
Well, it's still beautiful out here, and if you enjoy doing your homework outside today and yesterday like me, you may be in luck and be able to stay outside the library a little bit longer, with spring-like temps forecast for the first half of the week dropping a little bit lower in the second half. Let's take a look at your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, break out those Bermuda shorts and spring dresses because there will be a high of 68 degrees with some clouds. But be sure to pack a jacket because in the evening and morning hours, temperatures will drop to 44 degrees. Wednesday will be the coldest day of the week, dipping to 28 degrees with a high of 50. Not too bad for early March. Thursday, the sun will keep shining, hitting 51 degrees for the high and 34 for the low. And April showers may be starting a little bit early on Friday with morning showers forecast. Don't worry though, because temperatures will hit 51 degrees during the day. And to kick off the weekend, temperatures will start to rise again Saturday, hitting 56 for the high and 35 degrees for the low. So it looks like the groundhog's predictions of an early spring are finally coming true. Whether it's going on a run this week, which I hopefully will get to, or doing your homework outside, be sure to get out there and enjoy the sun. With your Phoenix 5-day forecast, I'm Kaylee Tracy.
Coming up, one website gives students a voice to share.
And more on how the university is reacting to the death of Professor Frontani. With emotions still high, our Megan Ford looked into what the next steps are for Elon after Dr. Frontani's death.
More than just a teacher, Dr. Heidi Frontani was a mentor to many students. Chair of the Department of History and Geography, Dr. Charles Irons, says that's what made her special.
Over the last several years, seeing Heidi really hit her professional stride. She's publishing more widely. Her advisees and mentors are getting more and more national awards. She's teaching to her interests. It's really been kind of a sweet season for her, which is what kind of makes it even more shocking and confusing.
Frontani's love for her students extended beyond her current classes to those she taught in the past.
The thing that makes this the trickiest is the ongoing nature of her commitment to her students.
The university is working to reach out to her alumni network. On campus, Dr. Jeffrey Coker and Dr. Evan Gotti will take over her teaching responsibilities. But Elon's immediate focus is on healing.
Certainly death is a traumatic episode for anybody, and young people, it's new, it's foreign to them, and so we want to make sure they have someone to talk to.
A shoulder during a difficult time as the campus mourns the loss of a professor students knew they could lean on.
I would just say that you won't be able to replace a Dr. Frontani.
Megan Ford, Elon Local News.
Professor Frontani's husband is an associate professor in the School of Communications.
For the first time in several years, dropout rates in the Alamance-Burlington school systems has gone up. In the 2014-2015 school year, the local dropout rate rose to nearly 3.5%, up from the record low of 3.25% the previous year. Both rates are more than 1% higher than the state dropout rate, which also increased last year. The most common reasons students give for dropping out are unstable homes, poor attendance, and problems keeping up with academics.
Terrorist organization ISIS is threatening to take down Facebook and Twitter as well as their leaders. This comes after both companies have worked to stop terrorist activities on their platforms by suspending terrorist accounts and removing posts.
According to CNN, ISIS supporters released a 25-minute video threatening the social media sites, quote, if you close one account, we will take 10 in return. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he is concerned, but there have been worse threats to him and his company.
Millennials are known for taking to the internet sites like Facebook and Twitter to share their opinions. One site allowing people to share their voice and their views is the Odyssey. I took a look at the people behind Elon's page.
It's also a chance to really connect to people's emotions that maybe they just have never been able to say those things before, or find something that has said that before, and you can be that missing piece for them.
Danielle Fowler is one of 17 students writing for The Odyssey, publishing articles ranging from typical college life to more personal issues. Editor-in-chief of the Elon chapter, Marguerite Ricks, says these wide variety of topics are what The Odyssey looks for in their student writers.
We want stuff that's ranging from the news, but also to what's happening around Elon, to also the stuff that girls are going to read about, like Valentine's Day or something like that, but at the same time stuff that can relate to guys too.
But one former writer, Nate Tebow, felt getting the most clicks on articles was more important than the content.
You're not being told to write the most intellectually challenging, the most progressive, the most fact-filled article. You're being told that you're being incentivized to write what's going to get the most shares.
But Fowler sees this aspect as a challenge to take risks with her writing.
I wound up writing one about my experience gaining weight in college and how it happens to so many people, and I think I tossed it around for so many weeks whether I was going to actually hit submit and edit it and have it edited and published. And then when I did, it had such positive feedback that sometimes you have to take those leaps of faith and just hope for the best.
With the chapter's first birthday coming up, The Odyssey is hoping to continue expanding topics, improving the writing, and inspiring the Elon community.
It is the content that they write that is what relates to everybody, but also you tweak it in ways that people would find interest in it and stuff like that. And with the writers, I know that they're always writing different content because there's such a large audience that we get for The Odyssey.
Jackie Pascal, Elon Local News.
If you want to check out The Odyssey, go to theodysseyonline.com/Elon.
Coming up, Elon students learn to look past appearances at the hijabi monologues.
And one local minister whose use of wine doesn't stop in church.
The sound of traditional African music, dances, spoken word, and monologues filled McCrary Theater Friday to end Black History Month at Elon. Amistad We Stand, a concert directed and choreographed by Elon Assistant Professor Jason Aria, addressed issues of race, equality, gender, and discrimination. The performance was inspired by an interpretation of Slave Castle in Ghana, along with 13 Elon students and the Africa Slave Dance Company. He traveled to Ghana during winter term to learn about West African culture. First-year Trey McMichael enjoyed showing the Elon community his winter term experience.
As an African American, I'm always trying to find ways to connect on a deeper level to my heritage and to my ancestry. And dancing on that stage and dancing in Ghana gave me that outlet to connect with this part of myself that I sometimes struggle identifying with.
3 Muslim American women shared their stories of wearing hijab to a student-filled audience. The conversation of religion on campus started with the hijabi monologues as it kicked off their spring 2016 tour in Whitley Auditorium before leaving to the Midwest. Freshman Sydney Bolden says the performance challenged the audience to not jump to conclusions about hijabs.
So I really feel like a lot of people should just look more at the person that they're talking to versus what they're wearing or their outward appearance.
After the performance, the women took questions from audience members to learn more about their stories.
Making the world a more understanding place when it comes to religious values was the theme of a conference this weekend. The Truett Center for Religious and Spiritual Life held the Ripple Conference, an event where students openly share religious perspectives and worldviews. L.D. Russell, a senior lecturer in the Department of Religious Studies, spoke about the decline of religion among young people.
My fear is that we will continue down this frustrating road that we have been on for so long, and that we will not be able or willing to do the kind of critical thinking about our own assumptions, cultural assumptions, our own privilege, right, that it will take in order to build the kind of conversation that is needed.
The Ripple Conference is held once a year. Check out Elon's Truett Center for Religious and Spiritual website for details.
Wine is an important symbol in the Catholic faith, but our Connor McCoy spoke to one local minister doing more than just blessings.
For those who know campus minister Father Jerry Waterman, they know he loves wine. You can tell by looking at his collection. But it is more than just drink wine.
I like to paint, I like to read, I'm a watercolor artist, and occasionally I like to make wine.
Waterman was first introduced to winemaking by his grandfather, and since, Waterman has crafted wine for several wineries along the East Coast.
I enjoyed the nuance of wine, you know, something that was sweet and delicious changes to become, you know, much more powerful and rich and takes on other flavors and characteristics. I love that.
While he left the wine business years ago, Waterman says he still considers himself a wine snob and owns a respectable collection.
Browse all wines, what's it say?
151.
151 bottles. That's what I have.
But his collection isn't just for himself. Waterman believes that wine is meant to be shared with others.
My phrase in Latin as well is in vino caritas. In wine, there is love. So you bring people together.
For Waterman, wine is more than just a drink or a religious symbol. It's something to be enjoyed. Connor McCoy, Elon Local News.
Without the facilities to make wine, Father Jerry is crafting a new beer in his spare time. It's currently in the early testing stages, but he says he hopes to have a product to share with others soon.
Coming up, a local guitar store that hits the high note with famous guitarists. The Elon men's basketball team wrapped up its regular season over the weekend and now look towards the CAA championships in Baltimore on Friday. With a win this past Saturday at Delaware, the Phoenix locked up the number 8 seed in the tournament and will play the number 9 seed Drexel Friday afternoon at 6 p.m. That game will be in Philadelphia. Elon swept the season series versus the Dragons and is 3-1 against Drexel since joining the CAA in 2014.
And from courts to courts, before we go, I took a trip to Greensboro to hear how one guitar shop found its tune. Roscoe's Guitar Shop has been shaping the sound of music for many years, and recently their customers are becoming more high profile.
Like we just had James Cook of Luke Bryan's band, their bass player,
he was our endorser, and then all of a sudden, a lot of big name country people, I guess, heard he was playing, and they wanted to take a look, and one thing led to another, and now we got a bunch of them.
Roscoe's Guitars have shared stages with some of the world's biggest stars, and it all starts with attention to detail.
Everything is check it twice, do it once, because if you mess up, it's trash. We can't do anything with it, and that's, for these high quality instruments, that's a lot of money down the drain.
With the clientele expanding, the shop is growing to meet demands.
Right now, the only one that's big time that's not country is Bruno Mars, so we kind of want to get our hands in some other genres of music too, and our plans are to triple our output, because usually right now we're 6 to 7 months backed up all the time with orders, so we're hoping we can catch up on those and then do even more.
There's a lot of work going into each guitar, but Averett says it's all worth it.
It's rewarding, real satisfying. I mean, all of us here put in so much work to make that one bass, and then you see it up there finally, and it feels good inside. See your product up there for all the world.
Roscoe's move down the road from its spot on North Spring Street to Perry Street will be complete in the next few weeks. You know, the guitar shop is really, really cool, I must say. I've never seen guitars being made in that kind of process, especially the electric guitars.
And just seeing that shop, the amount of passion that he put into it, he had so many tools for everything in that shop just laying around. I admire that, just putting so much into that and taking a risk moving to that new location.
Yeah, absolutely. They're moving to a way bigger shop. They're getting so much bigger. It's awesome.
We're pulling for him.
Yeah.
This is our first Elon Local News broadcast on Leap Day. The last Monday, Leap Day, was in 1988, several years before the creation of our broadcast. Leap year occurs every 4 years with an extra day in February. Jackie?
All right, well, that's all we have for you tonight.
And one last note, our co-anchor, Brianna McClellan.
Oh, right, yes, our Brianna McClellan.
Her brother, who's overseas in Kuwait, his birthday is actually today, so happy birthday to him.
Yeah, I wonder if he's 5 or 6. All right, well, you can always check our social media, our website at elonlocalnews.com, or Facebook and Twitter at Elon Local News. We also have our new app. You can check it out. And that's all we have for you.
Good night.